Hey everyone. I wanted to come on a little early to give people an opportunity to get the notification and get in here. And if you happen to be watching this on a replay, I'm probably for about the first minute and a half just going to be trying to talk and welcome people in so that we have a chance for people to get here. So you'll want to fast forward. And if you're here early, I want to ask you for a favor. And wow, 7 people. Like normally, we don't. Oh, hello, my Clark friend. But anyway, if you're here early and you happen to be watching on Facebook, there's a thing at the top that says allow Facebook and StreamYard just so that you can post comments. And you might have some questions. If that doesn't work for you, then you might want to go to YouTube and you can watch it there. Let me see if I can post a comment. I don't even know if I can right now. Actually, if you just search up yeah, I don't know how to tell you how to get to YouTube. But I did put that in the email if you happen to have gotten an email. So I do have an email going out to people to remind them that this is happening. And that had the link. If you want to sign up for that email, you can go to the Facebook group. It's sitting there. And while we're waiting for people to come in, and remember, if you're watching on the replay, you can just move to about minute 2. While we're waiting for people, I want to tell you that I'm also going to be doing not a webinar series per se, but a webinar that will let us play and come together and learn this tool. Because what I'm going to do today is, good morning, Erin. I'm going to show you what Canva for Education is, because I think many of us, like savvy educators, have been using Canva for a while. And we might not have known that there's a Canva for Education, which gives us access and our students access to the paid for free versions in Canva. And someone asked me yesterday when I was working with the district, because people asked me, what should we bring in next? I'm like, let's talk Canva with the kids. And someone asked me, will this be free forever? And it says right on the Canva for Education area that this is something they are going to provide for students forever. So we need to get used to this tool. Some of us are teaching in a remote situation. Some of us are face-to-face. It doesn't matter which you are, but for sure, if you're in remote, this is a great way to get kids creating. So I'm going to start by telling you, let me see if I can do this, that what we're going to try and be answering today is this little question. Oh, that's this. I knew I would do it wrong. I guess I didn't make the banner. Oh, anyway, if you want to sign up for the Canva webinar that I'm going to do so that we can play and learn how to make it, you can sign up using that. So I'm going to head over to my second screen and show you Canva for Education and a classroom example that some of you may have already seen. So as I do that, I'm going to be looking at my second screen. So you'll see me looking over to the side. I apologize. It's just the best way for me to do this and still be able to see you. But quickly, what is Canva? Why am I so excited? And Canva is an uber easy creation tool that students can make graphics. And what's really important, and you'll see this information on their website, it's got over 420,000 templates that you can use and tons for education. My kids take to it. They love it. Even when I tell them they can do it somewhere else, they go to Canva. They love it. It has 75 million premium assets, like great photos. It has 3,000 fonts, and we all know we need more fonts than is in Google Docs sometimes. Not too many for some of the kids, because I don't want them going back to the old English the way they used to do it. But with Canva for Education, I can publish assignments. The kids, and I'm going to show you this, the kids can then make a copy and work on that assignment, and it puts the assignment when they're done in one place. Now on Google Classroom, which I'm not saying don't use, but on Google Classroom, I have to click on each student's work and to go see it. That's a little bit of work when you've got 150 kids. This, you can just see it kind of in almost like in a grid, and you can preview who's doing what, what's getting done, and where you might need to go and help a student. So let's get started. Let me just move that and put this up. So we are going to come back over here. Sorry, I was playing with it beforehand with getting it with my class. But this is Canva. And Canva has all of these templates that teachers can use to create things in their classroom, or better yet, more importantly, students can use to be creative in the classroom, to take some content that they've learned, critically think about it, and then take that idea and place it on a graphic that goes with something. Like maybe they make a quote graphic, which we're going to do in here in a second. Their favorite quote from their own paper, their favorite quote from Thomas Jefferson, their favorite quote from the fall of Rome, whatever it is, they can make that graphic, and it gives them the opportunity to do a few things, to really communicate to you about their learning, to critically think about their learning, make connections, look for patterns and stuff, which is multi-dimensional learning, a Joe Bowler thing. If you're not a Joe Bowler fan, you have to be. And also they can create. And that's what we need our students to do, because we're going to be graduating our students into a world of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And what we need these kids to be is creators. So this is the program. I think most of you are sold, and let's just look at what Canva can do for education. So once I sign up for a Canva for Education account, and this is how I did it. I'm just going to show you quickly how I did. I went to Canva for Education, and they have a URL, but this is how I did it. I went to Canva for Education. I clicked on this, and then it came to this page. And there was a register now for free. So I did, and I had to fill out some stuff about being a teacher and where I worked. And then they needed some proof, because they're giving you something that costs me, has costed me like $25 a month as a person who was like kind of running an infused classroom thing. And so they want to make sure that you're a teacher. So they ask for some sort of proof, like you could give your pay stub. You could maybe send in a picture from your little card where you get like the staff card. We didn't have those because no one's at school. So it was harder for my co-teacher to get an account. She had to do it a couple times. In fact, I finally had to come and be like, can you help? So know that it might take a couple times to get that through, but no matter how long it takes, it's worth it. So once I get there, it starts to tell me all the things that we can do. And I'm going to actually go and show you what is available for you when you get this Canva for Education. And then we'll go design and stuff in that webinar. And the webinar, even if you can't come at the time that I do Pacific, you can watch anytime. I'm just doing it because I love this tool. I want when I've seen what my kids can do with it, I want your kids to do that too. So Canva's not paying me. I'm doing this because I want this in the hands of kids. That's what I'm about. So if we go back over here, and I've signed up, and it's finally I got my welcome Holly. You can see I have my Holly Clark's team down here, which is my class, and I'm going to show that to you in a second. We just got our students to start signing up on Friday because they were in the middle of something, so I don't have a lot of student accounts inside of my Canva for Education account yet, but I've had them work on it without this for a while. And they're dying because I told them they get the free assets, and they're so happy. So if I look here, I have my designs that I created in this account, which is much different than my own account. And then there are education templates. And you know what's in here for our Bitmoji educators? Bitmoji classroom templates. And Canva connects with your Bitmoji so that you don't have to be like downloading it from your Chrome extension and putting it into the thing. It all connects together. It's just, you're going to be freaking out. And it connects with Google Classroom to get in your things. You can share your assignment to Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. And if you are using Canva or whatever, you can take the link and share it. So this is like so good. I always get like this. Sorry, you guys. I get so excited when a good tool. This is how I was when Flipgrid came out. I was like, people, you've got to be using Flipgrid. This is like we all know about Flipgrid now. So this is the next thing you need to learn about. So anyway, they have education presentations and sort of like, not that I want to stop using Slides Mania, because I love me some Slides Mania, but here are some education presentations I could use, kids could use. You can see they have like an English lesson one that looks a little bit more inviting, a little bit more fun for kids if you have to give that kind of presentation. There's education infographics that students can create based on the information they're learning in class. They can critically think about that information and put it into an infographic. I would have them take that infographic, and I'll show you this in a minute. I'd have them put it on the screen on Flipgrid and explain why they did what they did in that infographic, what it means to them. You can also do that in Canva as well, but I'm a Flipgrid person. Anyone who's here knows that. Then there are worksheets. I'm not a big worksheet person, but sometimes we just need a worksheet. So here some are, if you need them. Science, we got flashcards if you need them. Ooh, this is the one I was looking at and eyeballing earlier. Google Classroom headers. Certainly have it for, I'm sure, other things as well. There's lesson plans. You can get your class schedules and art worksheets. And then this is what I made earlier as I was trying it out. So these are online whiteboards. I hope right now you're thinking, online whiteboard? You mean like Jamboard? Mm-hmm. So you take this, you make a picture, an image, a PNG, you download it, and you can put it on top of your Jamboard. If you're not dying right now, I don't know if we could be friends, because this is like so good to take on and put on top of those whiteboards. I'm kidding, we could still be friends. But if I look at this, and I use this one, that's why it's in the front. So I can go in here and change the category. Maybe the category is, I'm reading about the fall of Rome in my social studies class, and I say, politics. I say the problem with too many soldiers out in the field, and it was draining too much money, whatever. I put that in, and then this is the magic sauce right here. I go over to the 3 dots right here. I had a student, a 12-year-old, tell me once, Miss Clark, did you ever notice under an arrow, there's such great stuff? And I'm like, oh, that's such a great way to put that. But 3 dots, same thing. So I come over here after I have customized this quickly and easily. I come over and I can do a few things. I can download it if I want and maybe print it out. Don't do it. I can, oh, something's wrong here. I must not be on my school account. Hold on, something went wrong. Let me go to my school account. Normally it says I can share to Classroom and Teams, and I can make an assignment. So hold on. I probably am on the wrong account. Okay, here we are. Give me 1 second. I'm going to actually go find that again. So I'm going to go to school. That's where all my templates are. And by the way, I want to say that again. Up here, there were social media, events, marketing. I use social media all the time. Documents, order prints. And then there's this one, school. That's where I went to get back to this. And I don't know what happened with that other one. I have 3 accounts going because I wanted to show you some stuff of how I organize in my personal account. But so here we go back to this affinity. If I change it and I switch these up, I should be, unless I've totally messed it up by having my other account open, which I'll go close if I did. Yep, I did. I messed it up. So give me a second. I'm going to get rid of my other Canva. Miss Brady's class. Well, we'll just use Miss Brady's class. Let's see if that works. That's my co-teacher. And go to all my designs. We don't have any. We should have designs. I have messed this up. Give me a second. If I close this out, and I refresh this, give me a second. And make sure that I am in here. Give me a second as a teacher. And I'm not. So this is what I have to do. This is what happened. It automatically signed me up to my other one. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to sign up with my teacher account. And here we go. Okay. And I know this because over at the top here, it tells me which account I'm using. And I didn't want to give up my personal account because I have so many assets there saved. So back here at school, I'm coming down to find that thing again. And hopefully my little thing helps you. And I go to this online whiteboard. And I can change these out. And I can do this. I can go to these 3 dots. And it says happy Saturday. Okay. Oh, I did it and then went away. Let me just wait for it. Okay. Now you can see. I can share it to my classroom, my teams, by link to Canvas. Or what's more important, I can make it an assignment. And now it becomes an assignment. So let me do that. I think I already have it as an assignment. I can put a description like, here's what I want you to do, or your group does this, or whatever. As you can see, there's 4 like Post-it notes. And maybe you have kids who can do this in real time. Collaborate on it together. I hope you heard that. They can collaborate it on together, just like in Google Slides. But look how much better this looks. And then I can go next. It wants a description, so I'm just going to type in. And then I can put it in either Miss Brady's class, my co-teacher, or my class. She wouldn't probably want it in her class right now. And if I come back to the class, and I will, for some reason, it's going, let me head to my class. There we go. Getting back to my team. And if I head in here, and I go to school again. Really, I want to go to my team. I can see that assignment's here. And all of my students who are in my class will see this. And then they can go to the 3 dots. We got to get kids ready for this 3 dots, okay? Whatever you call it, I call it more options. Students have to understand, and we need to understand that those 3 dots, we've got to be clicking on it. I don't want people going, I can't find, what do you do? Where's that? If you haven't touched the 3 dots or the arrow, you shouldn't be asking a question about where something is. That should be only after you've given up looking for every 3 dots on that page you can find. So 3 dots, and the students can make a copy. Sound familiar? And then they make a copy and they go get to work on it. They can also share that with other people that you have in the class. You can create, and you can see this here, you can create groups of students working on something together. You can create groups of kids maybe in one period all doing something. So there's all kinds of things that you can now do. And what makes it different is the ability to make this an assignment. And then I don't have any work right now because my kids, we couldn't get them working on something. I will show you something they did, but we didn't have this then. In classwork, it will show up here as a grid of all of those things that those kids worked on. So while they're in a breakout room, or maybe they're in a group and I'm at my desk, if I'm face-to-face, and someday I guess we all will be, I can see what they're doing on my screen while maybe I'm doing a couple things over here, and I can eyeball, ooh, stuff's coming in. I can see what they're working on. And that's one of the things I love about Jamboard is I can easily see what they're doing. I can do this here too. Now, if you're like, this is great, but I have no idea what the heck Canva does, let me just really quickly show you what it does for you. So I'm going to head back to, we'll call it the dashboard because we use that a lot. And in this dashboard, I have my designs that I can create. But let's say I just was learning about Thomas Jefferson, and I'm going to make something that he would post on his Instagram account. So I can come over here, which kids love doing. So I can come over here and choose Instagram post. And when I do that, and I went to social media, by the way, and then it gave me Instagram post, Instagram story. It gave me Twitter, Facebook posts. And it gives me ideas. And this is what students need. They need ideas on where to begin because they're not great graphic artists. So maybe for Thomas Jefferson, I am going to use this one. It's not really going to talk about the seafood grill, but I might take out the fish. It just gives me a place to start. And I can come over to this section on the left, these are my tools. And under elements, I could look up Thomas Jefferson. Let me think. I can't think of anything if anyone wants to put it in the chat, but maybe I'm going to put in, I mean, obviously Monticello, but like he loved the French. So I'm going to put in like the Eiffel Tower or something if I can find something. So I came to elements and I typed in the word French. I'm going to do Eiffel Tower, which will be better. And I can't spell it, but that's okay. It'll know. And I can just put in the Eiffel Tower because maybe I'm talking about his trip to and how he spent so much time in France during important times in our history. So I can start to do that. I go to position. I'm going to put it backward. Kids do this all on their own. I don't have to teach them any of this. They figure it out. And then I start creating from a template. When I'm done as a student, it gives me the option to download. And I can download it as a PNG. I can download it as a PDF. I can turn it in, but I don't really need to turn it in because if I'm creating it from an assignment, my teacher sees it. So there's no turning in process. Oh, hello from Vancouver. So this is how easy this is. Now, the first thing I do with students to get them using Canva is I ask them to create their favorite quote. So they go out to the internet, find their favorite quote. One of mine is a quote by Nelson Mandela that says, "Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world." I needed to look it up, sorry, to make sure I got it right. So I might come back over here, and I do this a lot with my students. I tell them to create a design, and I tell them the dimensions that I want. We really talk about dimensions and what that means, because to understand that is a digital fluency. So I might say I want it to be the dimensions of a presentation or switch it around a little. In this case, I'm going to cheat. This is what I love about Canva, and I'm just going to use presentation. So I get this white thing here, and now I can go over to my toolbar on the left. I can add the text. And I probably won't remember exactly what Nelson Mandela said, but I can say education is the best tool for changing the world is basically what he said. He said it better because he's smarter. Now, I can come over here and I have all of these fonts that I can choose from. And I can change the font. I can also go to the background by choosing this background tool. And I can choose from all of these backgrounds. And I talk to my students about appropriate backgrounds. You're going to see it in a second. And let's just say I did that. That doesn't go. So I'd have a talk with my student about it. But that's how easy it is to put in a background. And now they've created something. It's not that easy on Google Slides. Like I have some new 2021 things. One of them is, can we maybe not use Google Slides for everything? I'm just hoping. And this will help us get there. So that was how easy it was. Then I go down here to download. I download it as a PNG, and it downloads. If I'm a Chromebook user, it downloads into my downloads, and I can go grab that download and put it into my Google Classroom, into my Drive. I can even just download it to my Drive. I can connect this whole thing to my Drive. There's so much here. I can't even talk about it all. You're probably some of you going, and you can do this. I know. I just don't have that much time. So I just want to show you to inspire you. I want to show you, and let me put this, oh yeah, it's there. I was going to say, let me put the webinar link up. Sign up for the webinar. I'm going to just go over, like, we're going to create something. You're going to ask questions. It'll be soon. I'm just kind of came up with the idea right before I was going live. So, but I want to show you what my students did. So first, we used a hyperdoc. If you're not using hyperdocs, we can talk about that another time, but we used a hyperdoc to really ground us in this lesson activity that we were doing. And students were reading short stories and doing poetry and looking for words that meant something to them. And then they were picking a theme and creating a manifesto. And so my students went to Canva to create their manifestos. This is my favorite. First, I love her name, Arrow, and she's like the best kid in the world. And she took her theme and she created it here in Canva, downloaded it, and uploaded it to slides. And then she did her writing, teach language arts in this case. Got to have some writing. Here it is. But one of the things that is not complete, I don't know what Arrow thinks or why she chose this or what was she thinking along the way. So I'm going to show you a different girl's one, but I had them take it, download it, and upload and put it onto Flipgrid and explain to me their thinking around their manifestos. I'm going to show you that in 1 second. And some people have seen this, but it's always nice to see twice. Look at this girl. This is like my favorite. Arrow too. I love them all. But look where this one right here. I play like a girl, and that's how I win. Yes. This girl's looking at what it really means to love in any century, quite frankly, but we're a little more open with it now. I mean, it takes guts. I don't know how much you can see of what she says there, but holy Toledo, the guts and courage it takes to put that in your class's slide deck, that kid's going to have a successful life. And here are how they all look different, how every kid created something that meant something to them, and how they all are unique, and how they took their knowledge and applied it to something new and novel called a manifesto. In case you don't know what that process is called, where you take your learning and you apply it to something new and novel, it's called transfer of knowledge. And it's in the transfer of knowledge that learning is solidified. And when we don't have that transfer, we often fall short of our learning cycle, let's call it. So I want to show you what these kids did. I have to go. I didn't get the Flipgrid up before, so just give me a second. I had them go to Flipgrid, and I had them use the sticker thing, and I can show you. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff like this coming up. So you'll be able to see all of this, like what I did with them in this Flipgrid. So I kept this, by the way, just telling you how I organize this. I took this piece of work that these kids did on this manifesto, and I put it into a mixtape so I could find it later. And here's Audrey's, and hopefully you can hear this.
Hi, my name's Audrey.
So there's her manifesto that she created in Canva, and she's typed it and wrote about it on Google Slides. And she's now talking about her learning in Flipgrid. Quick question. Do you think my kids are ready for digital jobs? Listen to her and then tell me what you think in the comments.
And this is my manifesto. One thing I'm proud of is how it came out. Like, I really like the quotes that I put on there because they really speak to me. Like, stop worrying so much. I need to always remember these things. And then something I change is, like, I use a lot of fonts. I feel like it's very busy. Next time I'd stick to, like, 5 main fonts.
I'm sorry, what 13-year-old talks about fonts? I'm like, it gets better, though, in a second. Wait.
And then 3 things I learned are when you create a manifesto, you should use a simple background. I just did ocean waves, so the background doesn't really interfere with the quotes.
And Holly Clark standard, the thing I wanted her to learn, which is in no standard anywhere in any state. You're going to hear it in a second. I wanted her to do exactly what she just is about to say.
And then I also learned how to curate lines,
That's not it. Hold on.
like quotes, and just organize it before they're put on the manifesto.
And
then the last thing I learned is the power of words.
Did she just say I learned the power of words by creating a Canva, by thinking about what she puts on it? That's all I want. This, I tell you, is my 2020, like one of the finest moments. All I care about is that students in an English class that I am in or co-teaching, all I want is for them to understand and fall in love with words. I have other standards. They got to go back into text and grab whatever, and they did that. That's what you see there. But my standard, Holly Clark standard, just happened. Please come to my class and fall in love with words. And oh, hey, I'm going to use Canva to help you do that because you're going to critically think and you're going to become proud. Do you think she has this printed out and put in her room? I would say most of these kids do. And I love this, Fernando. Empowering students' voice with tech is awesome. And it's what we have to do. Our students will go to digital jobs. They will be on Zoom. They will be doing these things. They will work remotely. They will live in Nebraska and have Nebraska cost of living and make a California salary because of a remote. And my students at 14 and 13 are ready for that job market. I fear that some of the kids who stayed face-to-face and whose teachers didn't continue to do this, I don't know if their kids will be ready. I think some for sure, right? Some of you were probably face-to-face and doing great, but some weren't forced. And on the coasts in San Diego, where we're not going back to school anytime soon, whether it was forced, or just whatever, a silver lining, these kids are ready. And I have a Facebook user who said, I love this project. I hope that's Lori, and she just hasn't signed up yet, because that would be my co-teacher who, this was a beautiful thing for us to see, or to have done. So anyway, so that's Canva. I just wanted you to know that this is available to your students and to you. And here's my 2021 messaging. Do not use a tool because you're afraid you don't know how to use it. What I've learned in remote learning is that kids will get it. Second graders will get it. If you teach kindergarten, they will be able to do this. You have to give them this gift and say, and we have this kid named Porter. Porter is our tech guy. Even when I know an answer, I act like I don't, because Porter is he's the guy. You got to ask Porter, right? And so you've got to give Porter that gift of being like the guy who knows about Canva, and let all the other kids, let them ask Porter. And you are the pedagogist. You're the learning specialist. You're designing why they should do it. The doing it, I promise you, from 9 months of remote teaching, they can do it. If you're waiting for you to understand it, you've got to stop. You just give them the link to this. And how I got my students in, let me show you really quickly, is I went to, I did it with Lori's or Miss Brady's class, but I went to, I'm still learning. Oh, yeah, hold on, let me go to hers. See, I switched between my two classes, by the way. I'm going over to hers. And you can see that in her class, we already have, in people, we already have these kids. I don't want to keep it up too long because you can see their first and last name. But what I did is I went and I tried to import from Google Classroom, but it wasn't connecting yesterday. Those things happen. So I went to get a link, invite link, and I made an assignment. And I said, here's the invite link, come to Canva. Guess what? You just got all the free stuff, because they were asking for it when they were doing their manifesto. So I can't believe how many of you have stayed. I want to look over some of the questions and sign up for that webinar. Let's do this together. Let's share on this Facebook group the things that we do. And I see someone said, Fernando said something great. I need to see what it is. Give students a list of apps and allow them to explore by themselves. Yes. Yes. And I was listening to Heidi Hayes Jacobs once, and she's like, there's two people who are my gurus, Heidi Hayes Jacobs and Joe Bowler. And because they're pedagogists, and they're digital pedagogists, right? And Heidi Hayes Jacobs said, as a teacher, learn one new tool a month. Okay, so we've learned a lot of new tools. We're in 2021. You can choose, maybe it's Jamboard right now, but I would want to learn this first so I could bring those whiteboard things into Jamboard. But you pick. Maybe this is your February. But learn one new tool a month. You don't have to know it backwards and forwards. You think I know Canva? I know it pretty darn well, but there are kids who tell me stuff every day I didn't know you could do in Canva. And I love it. I live for it. And a Facebook user says, I've used Canva to have students create a social media post for the National Weather Service to inform people about different types of severe weather. I love it. I actually found a teacher in a group I was in on or not really Clubhouse, but I found a teacher, and she has made for English teachers this whole social media writing project that she does. It's the best thing ever. It's like micro writing for high school students to get them ready for their future. I'm going to have her on this Facebook group soon so that she can tell you about this. Like I would have died for this when I was in the English classroom. Instead of having kids write all the time, I mean, you still have to have them write long essays sometimes, but the little micro things that go with it, like after you've written your essay, do a social media post to get people to your essay, or what's the main point in your essay. So I can't wait to have her on. Anyway, so I will, we're 35 minutes. I promised this would be 15 or 20, but when you love something, it's really hard, right? So thank you. Oh, wait, would you be so kind to explain the difference between class and groups? I'm going to attempt to, because I'm new at this. And I know we're possibly going to have some people from Canva on this because I saw them sign up. And if they're here, maybe they can put it in the chat. But this is what I am thinking it is. So my class is right now, my class, I have 150 kids with Lori, okay? So then I would put them into groups, maybe period 1, maybe period 2, and even inside of the period 1, I might have a group of kids working on a project together. So so that's what I'm thinking it is right now. I'm telling you, I don't know how long it's been out. I think it's only been like a couple months. So I'm still getting and learning that group and stuff with the kids. But I've been using Canva, and they've been just doing it with their email accounts because I had to use it. We use it for so much. And it can app smash with Book Creator. It can app smash, obviously, with Flipgrid. I can app smash it with Jamboard. So it's really a foundational tool as well. And Fernando put in an example of one of my students' travel brochures she made. And he put the link, which is really nice. We need to, Fernando, thank you for your generosity and sharing today. Okay. So, and someone said this is really important. Also, Canva lets students create videos similar to Adobe Spark so they can record themselves explaining how to solve problems. Exactly. And I just take it into Flipgrid to explain that product to me, to give me a press record, I like to call it. Press record and tell me why you created that. Tell me the thought process behind that. Tell me why you chose those words and not others, that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going too long. You guys need to get your Saturday on, your hardworking teachers. Thank you. Sign up for the webinar if you want to come. And next week, I think we're talking about, and it's going to be Wednesday. I just didn't do it Wednesday this week because little crazy day for Americans this Wednesday. And I didn't want to be disrespectful and be like, hey, the Capitol is being seized, but you want to learn about Canva? I didn't want to do that. So so next week, and it's on the thing, but I think it's Flipgrid, going even deeper with Flipgrid. Some of the things, even maybe app smashing with this Canva, because you can create frames in Canva and add them to Flipgrid. It's crazy. Okay, everyone. Thanks, and so awesome to see some names here too. You can also always watch this on YouTube if it's easier for commenting. It's right now on Twitter as well. So thanks, everyone, and have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for all you do. You're learning on a Saturday. Your kids are lucky. Bye.